This is the women's final at the 40th annual No Borders Ultimate Tournament on Rogers TV. My name is Desmond Thomas. I'm joined by Ben Powley as we get set for this cross-province matchup. It truly is a No Borders tournament. Ben, Oz out of the nation's capital here in Ottawa, and Fusion, they made the long trek from Winnipeg in order to make it out here to UPI and play in this final on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see, and truly living up to the name of No Borders. We've had teams here all the way from BC out to the true east, the far east, as I believe you call it, out there in Halifax. So it's great to see, as you say, these teams making to the final, and you know, for the spirit of No Borders, this Ottawa team getting it done and reaching the big dance at the end.
So it will be Oz to pull first. They're in dark. They'll be running from the left to the right of your screen, and Fusion in their white kits running from the right to the left across your screen. It's been a gusty day here at UPI. Much better weather than yesterday, though. The tournament had to be postponed. Well, many of the games at the end of the day had to be canceled and revamped at the beginning of today's action. But blue skies, nary a cloud in the sky here at Ultimate Parks Incorporated as Oz gets us underway.
That's right. I describe it today as a thrower's breeze. So both these teams, I expect not to face too many troubles with it. Both teams are stacked full of amazing handlers, as we just see.
Oh, what a reception downfield, that huck along that far sideline, and Fusion looking to draw first blood, and they do.
Yeah, that's just an excellent display and a great sally to finish it off. Yeah, this is had the pleasure of watching the Fusion team in the semi-final as they got their universe win over Remix, and that's exactly what they do so well. They look their cutters in front of the disc, coming under, creating space, and then they're just so disciplined, getting these deep strikes from the far side of the field.
It's good poise at the top of the zone, and an excellent celebration, as you said, Ben, for Fusion to be able to get the nice clean hold to start the game. Ultimate is a game of breaks, and you never really want to give one up. On offense, you're pretty much expected to score 95% of the time, if not 100% of the time.
That's right. Nothing settles these nerves in these big games like your O-line. Just getting out and getting it done, and getting it done in such efficient fashion as well. Just saving those legs. It's going to be a long game. There's going to be a lot of running, both athletic teams. So, yeah, that's a nice start.
That pull from Fusion near the mid-mark of this field, and Belanger picks it up. Nice put to the inside, and hitting the deck well is Annika Steele to collect that back up for Oz. Little dish across for Riley Belanger. Riley Belanger now looking long into the end zone, and the reception. And we're all tied up at one. Callie O'Grady for Oz.
Yeah, and what we're going to see in this final is going to be two teams that are not afraid to trust their receivers to put that disc out into space, as we see there. And yeah, great grab, but some initial pressure from Fusion in that handler space. They're climbing on quite nicely, but a couple of breakthroughs from them that have really opened that up and seizing that momentum and that little jailbreak going forward, and a really nice way to throw to the corner. It's great to see. A great start by both teams. So we'll see which one blinks first on defense, I guess. Which one can make something happen.
Yeah, it's been all offense, and we'll see if perhaps those around breaks can be contained a little bit better. Try to keep that on the force side so your downfield defenders can really trust that mark on the thrower.
Yeah, there's been a lot of success this tournament. A lot of teams favoring this inside break, just putting a flatter mark, making exactly what you're saying, testing their arounds, making that disc travel as long as possible. And with these odd gusts that pop up, it can really move that disc in ways you don't expect during the flight.
Good roller pull, good distance on it. Oh, just a bit too far. Stretching out her hand was Jillian Bannister, but first break chance of the game, and it goes to Oz. And not this time, as making up for her mistake, or Jillian Bannister. It wasn't really a mistake, but she wasn't able to get the grab. Comes back with the run through D, but the long huck to the end zone as they were looking to find Alexis Gagnon. A bit too much weight on it and not enough float.
Yeah, exactly. It's that, I guess the wind died down. There was some aggressive edge on that, trying to shape it around the defenders. The defenders kind of did a good job clogging that lane, and yeah, just out of reach. Bit of a wrong angle on the disc, punished by the wind.
Emily Colleen, that put into the middle of the pitch. A little floaty as it seemed the wind just picked up right for that. Put into the middle. Now Fusion back on it. Swung to that far side and it's floating, and there's gonna be a second crack at it here. Front cone, and Fusion goes up. I believe that is Jillian Bannister on the far side. She's been all over the point.
She has a really key player in the semi-finals as well. They lost Millie Wright, I believe, in the last game due to a collision, so they may be over without her. So it's now on other players to step up and get the job done. And what Fusion, I really admire the way they've been playing this tournament is on these higher stall counts, they are backing their receivers, and the way they throw a disc and let it sit there, it allows these secondary players to come and get it, and they really just embrace the spirit of that disc is not down until it's down, and that allows for some saving, some flexibility, I guess, some saving moments, but it's all down from the hard work. It's not the luck here. They're truly creating it.
Well, when you have that secondary support and second effort, especially when it's a windy day, and by the way, that was Coco Diamond Burchuk with the reception, and if I'm not mistaken, her second point of the half. But always having those shadow cuts in behind on a windy day in the end zone. And you never know. It may just pop right over the defender's head and sail right to you. There's that pull from Fusion. Goes out beyond the sideline, so Oz will take it up at the brick mark. Riley Belanger. Force is to the far side from Fusion, and that's a lovely put to Kayla Verge. Oh, and a tough return to sender. Regan Belanger unable to dig that out of the grass, and Fusion up 2-1 right now. Chance for another break. Long look to the end zone. Great D. Ellie Monroe reaching up and pawing that down.
Yeah, that's a great D. She really cut the lane there. She really got up early, and you don't have to catch your Ds on defense, and that gives you an advantage. They get now the second chance at this.
Riley Belanger pinned along her own goal line. That was a lovely put to Annika Steele. Is trying to calmly work it up the field. Ellie Monroe now as Kayla Verge upfield. She resets. Belanger. Mackenzie Roussel in the backfield with her. Heavy mark to that far side from Lazaruk. Well held on to. On the near side by Regan Belanger. O'Grady. Receives that. Ellie Monroe in the end zone, tries to dig that, and just unable to as she stays down along the turf. She had to get really up close and personal with that solid ground.
Yeah, that seems to be we're more familiar there with that Oz offense. They've got a few great drivers. Belanger there wearing the number 10, that lefty just really can just rip it in the wind, and that just means defenses really have to respect their deep game. If you're sitting under and you've got throwers who can punish you deep, then yeah, that can change a few things.
Fusion have work to do now though as they're in their own end zone. And a big dirty hold opportunity here for Oz as Fusion turn it again. It'll be taken on the goal line. Regan Belanger. Back to her sister. Into the end zone for the score. Kayla Verge, lovely cut into space. And Oz ties the game at 2.
Yeah, what I really liked about that red zone offense there was it was on the corner, and the temptation is always just to stare down, stare into the corner, and cuts come and clog, and that allows defenders to really set up and under. But what you see there, exactly that, is they move, they look once, move the disc off the sideline. Number 1 clears out, and that opens up that channel there for that good goal there by Kayla.
Yeah, it's really composed, mature offense in that red zone from Oz. And yeah, a lot of teams have a tendency to either panic or try to stuff it up down the sideline, just try to force that put in with the wind gusting as it is.
That's right. Yeah, and when you're saying that, you're really looking at me, and absolutely, I've been guilty of that a lot of times, just staring there, waiting for something to come, not looking back, and then stall 9, upside down scuba or something. It's
pretty when it works.
That's right, that's right. High risk, little reward. That's right, that's, dirty hold as you say, but it all matters on that scoreboard. It all counts the same.
It all counts the same indeed. And Fusion wants to do the same here, but maybe a bit cleaner, as it's going to be picked up by Tiffany Zhang. Into the backfield. Around from McFadden. Nice under strike, Gagnon. Saved at the last second. And that long look to the end zone, it's floating. They've got bodies there. And Oz able to get the turn and a chance for a break.
Yeah, it's a nice adaptation there by Oz, seeming to understand the flow patterns more. Fusion starting out in the horizontal and looking to flow into that space, but Oz doing a good adjustment to go deep.
Strike coming, but that flick caught up in the wind. As Hannah Grizik was looking deep. And return fire here from Fusion, and that's batted down. Caitlin Gormley, I believe her second D of the point. Colleen. On this near side, Emily Colleen. Looking to feed it back to her teammate who shares the same last name. And now that put floating and tracking hard left and read very well by Hannah Grizik, who pulls Oz in front 3-2.
That was a well-executed visionary throw. Oz came out running their usual system. Seems a Fusion of started really heavy push towards this near side, and then as the cutters are coming into the lane, they're kind of covering the players, and then the defenders are lagging in the lane, trying to clog that lane as much as possible. But Oz there did a great job recognizing that there was more players in the lane, and that throw is just unguardable. A classic caribou, as they would say, and frustrating to be a defender on that. I've been a victim of that many times, and yeah, when you got throwers like that and receivers who hold that space so well, it's a tough place to guard, tough areas to guard.
And I wish I could give credit to the thrower on that particular instance, but on the roster I was provided, I see no number 4. There are 2 players on the roster without numbers, so either Rachel Hurdle or Sarah Etahade, I believe, something along those lines. If that was you, a lovely put.
Come say hi to the commentary box, provide your number, and get the kudos where you did what you truly deserve.
Exactly. Oh, and that pull really kicked up and splits the 2 Fusion players.
Chasing hard down, putting pressure on.
Oh, nearly a run through D. And well done to get to the disc and run through it, Jillian Bannister, but it's turned over.
Yeah, it's that eagerness to go quickly, keep the momentum, but when there's that little stoppage, it's also hard to connect with teammates, creates that little disconnection.
Kylie Choi, former teammate of mine last year. And that put into space and a little low. Julia Kozarski, if it perhaps had floated a bit, there were players converging on the area.
Yeah, it was a tight window to hit, but there definitely was a player over there.
Coco Diamond Burchuk on that far sideline now. Emily Colleen, a heavy mark, and Fusion moves it up that far sideline. Valencerina. Oh, excellent layout opportunity and bid by Tiffany Zhang, but unable to scoop that off the ground, and injury called on the near side by Jillian Bannister, who heads off.
Yeah, it seems like Fusion are really attacking that line. They're pushing them. Oz are doing a great job pushing them onto that low side. When the wind does pick up, the wind is blowing to that far side where the disc is now. And so Fusion almost daring them to keep cramming it and defending that deep.
That was a 50-50 ball, and there were about 5 or 6 players in the vicinity. Fusion get the turn. Valencerina. Oh, that may have hit
Yeah,
Kira Straub in the face.
Did a great job, the defender, just trailing behind, took a quick step to the left, cheated the lane, and just got a hand in the way.
Emily Colleen pinned along that far sideline.
Yeah, this is an interesting position here for Oz because they're keeping this Winnipeg, the Fusion O-line out for a long time, making them run through their legs, but in the same time just taking these quick early shots at the end zone, trying to get that quick break, whereas I'd love to see them just settle down and pretend they are the O-line and try and walk this break in.
Good switch of the field from Fusion. Diamond Burchuk. Nice under. And a floaty put that's reeled in very nicely by Valencerina. Saw her last on that far sideline and now occupying the near sideline, but an injury called. This time by an Oz player. Didn't quite see what happened on that, maybe just a rolled ankle.
I believe so. I think there's with the rain, I think that's just one of those ones where the hard cutting and the hard defending, just the ground just goes, and kind of a slip and an awkward fall, I believe. So that was nothing too serious.
Yeah. So Kayla Phillips, with the help of 2 of her teammates, really having a hard time putting any pressure on that right ankle. But we are back underway. Oz leading Fusion 3-2 right now. And that huck is batted down. And Oz has players pushing to the end zone. But that huck perhaps a little rushed, as there was some defense getting back in transition for Fusion.
Yeah, that's right. They're really just getting that disc going, trying to get it started very quickly, and just same third hook, and they're being punished now. They went out early, didn't come back in. The wind is really punishing slight miscalculations on disc angle and face angle.
Trying to pump it up that open sideline. It's going to be tracked back and pulled out of the air. What a reception. Tiffany Zhang into the end zone for the score. All tied up at 3 apiece, and Anna Fredkov gets the marker.
Yeah, it's an interesting, that point was an interesting one, where signs of great teams are when things are going wrong, can you dig yourself out? We saw there with Fusion, there was a few moments here on this play of great individual skill. There's some footwork and then going back and a great throw to space here. But as an Oz team, you can't be too dismayed by that. You've generated a lot of turns. And then I'd say the turns that came from you are the ones that are within your control. So I think that's got to be a message from the sideline now, is you are generating the turns, you are forcing the turns. Just a little bit of a deep breath, a little bit of composure on the offense, and generate some two-way momentum. and then just walk it in, and then by walking it in and taking these unders, those deep shots will come up, and maybe they'll come up shorter, so you don't have to look for the full field hook. You can just look for those little lead passes to space.
And on that opportunity, especially, and I'm going to say it many more times, with the wind as it is right now, as you're unable to really predict when it's going to start gusting up, on that deep strike, perhaps the better option is the hard under right after the fact into space. Yeah,
completely agree, and it's what Fusion did so well in their semi-finals is they adjusted to the wind, and they didn't become hooks. They were more 20-meter lead passes, and exactly by...
Oh, what a save!
By
First out of the hands of Verge.
Yeah, by getting those unders, it really opens up that deep space.
And Steele, who grabbed that, puts that up. It'll float for Monroe into the end zone for the score.
And sometimes that's what it takes. You need these players to step up, and that was a point-saving grab there by Oz. And then a player timed it nicely with the receiver, with their handler getting the disc, and that was just a lovely weighted disc out into space in front of the attacker.
Well, it's gutsy by Monroe to back up and backpedal as she sees the disc coming towards her when there was a defender right in front of her, but she had a good sight line on it and was reading it exceptionally well and seemed to predict that it would just jump at the last second over top of the outstretched hand of her mark.
Do you think that's local area knowledge?
Exactly.
Predicting the bluffs that happen? The Ottawa players.
Teams.
Yeah, that's right.
The Ottawa teams, the wind is unpredictable for everybody else. The Ottawa teams know what trees it bends around. Well, the real secret is it's better to play in the backfields between the trees.
Yeah, that's right. It's the trade-off, isn't it? Do you want to be on the backfields protected, out the way, or do you want to be here on the showcase, but completely exposed to nature and the crowd we have here today?
Yep. Some good spectators, a nice amount of teams and parents, teams who have either wrapped up their day or are waiting to head to their last games of the tournament. So Oz up 4-3. And Fusion moving it well on that far side. Pump fake from Gagnon. And she'll go back to Tiffany Zhang. Nice cut into space, back onto the field. Jillian Bannister, who took an injury a few plays ago, into the end zone, and a layout grab draws Fusion level at 4.
Yeah, that was just a nice example of the offensive structure. A little bit of a miscommunication going down there by Oz from the off. They managed to get that disc moving fast and putting it onto that backhand side. Selfless cutting downfield as well by Fusion. As soon as they recognize that they are in front of the disc, they make a clear out, and it's what's great about their offensive structure is their clearance cuts are also generating options for them, and that creates a lot of space in front of the disc to move, and they're really disciplined of when they come through and they cycle on the far sideline, making sure they don't clog or giving the defenders, as we know Oz can do, to poach off slightly and just trying to create it a little messy.
And that was Coco Diamond Burchuk with, to my count, her third point of the half in 22 minutes played in this women's final in Manotick Station, Ontario, just outside of Ottawa, at the beautiful expansive fields we have here at UPI.
Yeah, they really held up well, especially after the storm we have. It's beautiful venue to get to, a beautiful hosted, and it's the organizers have done a terrific job here.
Bit of miscommunication between the two sisters. Regan Belanger will pick up the disc. Riley trying to get open. They're isolating her right now, and she'll pump fake that backhand. Flick into open space and brought down well by O'Grady. Another one of the captains on this Oz team, O'Grady, and that perhaps forced a little bit as there was a lot of coverage. Kira Straub with the D. Hot shot down the field and just bobbled at the last second. Valencerina unable to reel it in.
Yeah, Oz playing a similar, trying to get the disc moving in front, but they're kind of making their cuts a bit more lateral, and that's allowing Fusion to adapt well and just kind of anticipate where their cuts are coming from, and winning those front shoulders.
Break chance here for Fusion into the end zone, bobbled 3 times, and then caught. Those second and third efforts, so important.
Yeah, Fusion there punishing that kind of short turnover. That's a great break going inside to the break side, and then a well-timed cut going deep for just a lovely lead pass into the end zone.
Emma Beausoleil, what was her internal monologue as that disc was bouncing in and out of her left and right hands?
I think the post monologue would have been, that was a great investment in gloves right there.
Are you pro glove or?
I'm a one glove man.
Okay.
So I sit on that controversial fence. I've been a no glove, I've been a 2 glove, and now I've settled on the catching hand is a glove, and it is a gardening glove from Australia. Cost me $8.
Wow.
And allows me to keep the touch on the throws, but a bit of a sticky catching hand. Sometimes, but you really run the risk of, I've been known to drop it an easy catch, and then the heckles come from the sideline, absolutely diabolical.
Nice pull from Fusion, really making Oz work from the back, but a long huck put up, and Hannah Grizik inches away from the end zone. Waves off the first cut, waves off the second, and plays back to O'Grady. O'Grady for Belanger, she'll strike now off the handler position. O'Grady, what a cut into the end zone! Gets wide open, and her mark, Bryn Martin, has to give her a high five after that. Excellent movement from O'Grady.
Absolutely, that is just genius work in the end zone right there. That was a great hit deep, and then this cut to the far sideline, a quick fake of the 7 cut, instantly returned on the inside, and that is just a phenomenal bit of skill and a great throw to open that up, and then great composure on that goal line just to move that disc back and isolate an elite cutter in the area.
It's been very nice, patient offense in the red zone from Oz, and it's what they would expect of themselves as one of the top teams in Ottawa.
Yeah, that's right, and it's really maybe what they could describe as maybe a shaky start to the tournament, but this is what's carried them through and what's showing them to prove why they're an elite team and why they're in this grand final, is when they get that disc on that end zone, on that offensive line, their red zone percentage must be one of the highest in this tournament. Yep. And it's when you can rely on that dependable O-line to convert when you get there, it really frees up everything else and takes a lot of pressure off.
Kozarski, her pull is collected by Zhang. And Fusion now. Long huck, put up into the end zone. It'll float once, and it's brought down. Anna Fradkov and the entire Fusion line making quick work of that offensive possession. That was a great look from Jillian Bannister downfield, and Fusion pulls ahead 6-5 as we're about 3 minutes away from the hard cap for halftime.
This is just a clinic right now by Fusion on how to play expansive, free-flowing yet disciplined ultimate, when they seem to have just these elite break throwers on their O-line who start the disc, and they're doing a really great job of putting these hybrids in the secondary, so they are able to put one-on-one isolations, but with these strong throwers on the disc, able just to sit that disc out there. And when you've got the athletes that they have, is really forgiving for a thrower. You can just put it out there as long as it goes on the right side away from the defender. These downfield receivers are just doing a great job closing the disc down, keeping their body between the defender and the disc, and just converting. And yeah, we've got two contrasting styles here, some similarities, but both playing in similar ways, isolating receivers, but one looking more vertically down the field and one looking more horizontally, but both teams not afraid to punish you if you start slacking in the deep space.
Trading back and forth points, these two teams. Been a couple dirty holds, but nothing to break the game open yet. Roussel on the near side for Oz. Straub on the mark. And Roussel gets around her. Boulanger pump fakes once. Wants the in cut. It'll float. And Regan Boulanger, it got past her, and she's gonna have to hustle back on defense as that bladey OI flick is received by Emily Cho. Patient in the red zone, resets, and now gets open herself and receives it back. Cho into the end zone, spicy IO, it floats, and the height advantage of Riley Boulanger. She'll win that battle 99 times out of 100. And Oz has another chance. Getting open is O'Grady. O'Grady has Verge downfield. A lot of space for Monroe, and she finds it. Along that far sideline, Monroe needs an option. Boulanger going up line. Second crack at it, pulls it down. And now we'll see if Oz can be patient again in the red zone. And that time, Monroe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Fusion go this now. Normally they've got the turn and a fast turn and then just immediately just punted it. Now they've got a slow turn and a lot of time to think about it and a full field to work up. So I wonder, I would love to see them right now just take this time, resettle, get into some form of structure and just work it a bit more. But the Oz offensive line, they've had a few dirty holds, but I'd say that's credit to their ability to play defense on the turn as well. So good matchups all around. Let's see what Fusion can do with this disc now.
And they do have a fresh body on now as Emily Lazaruk took an injury. This is the point. Long put, downfield, and again, Emily Cho has it here for Fusion. Looking to take half with a break. The unofficial clock is on the Rogers score clock right now. It's the observers who have full control, but that's a great run through D.
Yeah, really did a great job to react and get inside, but yeah, that was a nice little showing.
Long put, downfield. Regan Boulanger looking for Monroe. Monroe climbs the ladder and pulls it down. Monroe has O'Grady. Stall count must be getting high now, and she dishes off. Regan Boulanger, lefty. Everybody in the end zone now, and a foul called. It is Lazaruk on the turf.
Yeah, it seemed to be the disc just coming across. Seemed to be a bit of ability to kind of make an early play on it, and a Fusion player attacking the disc seemed to make contact before the ability of the Oz player to be ability to catch that disc. Is just, I imagine they're talking now about if it was, did it really affect the play? Where we start discussing if the disc had gone over the head or if they were able to make it.
So it looks like the decision will head to the observers.
Yeah, and the observers in North America able to give opinions, unlike the game advisors of Wolf Duff in Europe, where you go to them and they give you a rule clarification. As a man who's played both, I prefer the observer system. I like the way they can step in. It kind of diffuses the situation quite nicely, puts some impartiality. Saying that, until an observer goes against me, which I feel was clearly not the outcome, and then I will try to avoid giving the observer, engaging them in a discussion.
All right, so the call is settled. On the goal line, and Monroe gets open. Annika Steele with the IO flick to take half as Oz ties it at 6.
Yep, and that was just great composure to come out of that discussion, just to reset, isolate that cutter at the 1, and just that inside break.
So halftime here, Oz 6, Fusion 6. We'll be back with second half action. This is the 40th annual No Borders Ultimate Tournament on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome to Ottawa in the Know. I'm Julie Finley. I'm happy to be here to show you everything from bike trails to kitchen tales and all the things in between that make Ottawa so great.
Welcome back to UPI.
In the early 80s.
As Oz and Fusion are right back to it. Hannah Grizik on the far side for Oz. Good pump fake to shake off her mark, and Colleen has it now. That'll die though, on its way to the end zone. But a foul called on the play, on the initial throw. I thought I heard something, a bit of a slap.
Yeah, and the disc came out in an odd shape. I was hoping that had some influence and wasn't just one of those throws, but yeah, that seemed to be an uncontested foul on the throw.
So it goes back to Sarah Colleen. Nice movement in the backfield. Good under from Hannah Grizik. Return to sender, but a little bit too far in front.
Seem to be playing a deeper stack, which the risk reward on that is bigger gainers, but longer throws to have to be made.
And Jillian Bannister lurking near the end zone, but now comes back in for the under. Oh, that's risky and floaty, and past the intended recipient in Sam McFadden. And Oz back with it here on the near sideline. Grizik. We'll see if Oz can try to center this disc and not just pump it up the sideline, but that's exactly what they do. Pump it up the sideline, and the height mismatch of Jillian Bannister getting back on defense and pawing that down.
Yeah, Oz look really good when they're able to move that disc and keep that disc moving. As soon as they get trapped on the sideline and they start stalling a little bit, Fusion are doing a really good job of locking that down, and they're finding it difficult to get momentum going again.
Fusion trying to get out of dodge here, pinned along their own goal line. And they do get it off that line now on the far sideline. Shimmy shake from Bannister, and she has it in the backfield. Tiffany Zhang looking to get open, but it's good coverage. Bryce Patterson looking long. It's going to float short, though. Yeah. Almost a second effort.
The difference there is Fusion are now getting these discs facing the other way, so they have to turn and then find the receiver and then launch it, and that's making a little bit of a disconnect now downfield compared to the beginning when they were able to get it more forward facing and then immediately just unload.
Nice movement from Oz. And wide open on the near side is Gormley. Just spoke to her father, who's in attendance right now. Gormley, nice put. Killeen pumping it up that far sideline into the end zone, and a layout D saving the day for Fusion. And injury called as Anna Fradkoff went horizontal.
That is a big, big moment there. Oz, like you say, doing really well working that disc up, some lovely throws to space, and I thought the throwers were able to slip it past the defender. The defender was face marking that player in the end zone, but the ability to just turn, react, leave your feet, and connect with the disc, that was a big, big play there in the end zone by Fusion.
And if you're face marking, especially in the end zone, you really need that sideline support, and you need somebody in your ear talking to you to see if you're the hot player or not.
Exactly, you don't want to be left high and dry in those situations.
Bannister looking for the unders, but goes deep again. It'll float, tracking to the near side. Big battle for it.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a little bit of an arm wrestle here. Both teams working hard to get the disc, but no team really wanting to convert it.
And another big pull down by Caitlin Gormley. And now looking to be super chill with the disc. Oz in the red zone, short flick. And those flicks in those tight quarters, so difficult to time properly.
Yeah, right now, I said it in the first half, I'm going to say it again. I really just want to see this Fusion D-line just take a breath and walk it up. They're very trigger happy, and we know they can shoot deep, and that's a lot of weapons. But by going under more, they're going to eat up the field, be able to shoot it in a smaller space and open up the deep. And if they want to go deep in a Nationals run, which they definitely can, they're going to need to develop this ability just to change focus, which they're displaying right now.
Diamond Burchuk, little flip over the top, Tiffany Zhang. Marked by Caitlin Gormley, into the backfield, Bryce Patterson. Patterson, turned over, and Oz now with a chance to go ahead. Long point.
Yeah, when these long points happen, these errors start coming, and slower receivers than you expect, fatigue on the throw, and it just compounds and compounds.
Shot to the end zone, it'll float. 3 players coming together, and Hannah Griezek unable to pull that down for Oz. As Jillian Bannister just hunting in the end zone on defense.
If someone's taking stats on the amount of blocks she's got, she is going to be up there. That plus minus, also demonstrating the ability to throw deep as well. So she must be aching out there now, but really just doing the work. Not only unlocking the deep receivers, but doing that selfless work of the grinding, getting under those floating discs, and keep Fusion having sniffs at the chances.
It's a timeout called, and I've been wrong many times before, but I believe this is the point to head to half. It's not going to be a long second half because they're only 60-minute games.
Yeah, and that feels more crucial than it, like a 6-6 game is always a crucial one. But yeah, with halftime looming, I wonder if their players are aware of that and it's in the back of their minds, because especially exactly as you say, with a short second half coming at you, getting this lead going into half is really great physically. It gives you this elevated energy, but also mentally it puts you in a position of more comfortability and this kind of buffer built in, whereas you're going into half and you're 1 point down, you're automatically thinking, I need to chase and I need to score quick, which can then compound these issues that these teams are having of trying to go straight route one to the end zone rather than building that foundation that they displayed in the first half.
It's that composure and those long points. But these teams are here for a reason. That was saved as it was trailing away from the receiver. Here's Bryce Patterson, turned over. Oz with a chance, deep in the red zone. It'll be Mackenzie Hayward to pick up the disc. Mackenzie Roussel, one hard cut, gets open on the open side and spikes it down.
Yeah, and that's another great example of when Oz get that disc in that red zone, they are so well drilled and they have these players just to call upon. They give them the stage there and they go to work. Again, a really hard cut to the line. The Fusion defender has to really work to go get it, but then the ability to stop quickly, change direction, and hit that 7, opening up the window for the thrower. It's just another example of what Oz do so well and why they are here.
So that was the point to take half, and Oz takes it 7-6, and with only about 15 minutes remaining on the game clock, it may be 1 point or 2 points in the second half, and that'll be about it.
I was removing the phone from the stand.
Are we going to do commercial again? Yes, that's halftime. But what a crucial way for Oz to take half, 7-6. They lead. Second half action coming after the break. This is the 40th annual No Borders Ultimate Tournament on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to RogersTV.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at RogersTV.com.
Welcome to Ottawa in the Know. I'm Julie Finley. I'm happy to be here to show you everything from bike trails to kitchen tales and all the things in between that make Ottawa so great.
In the early 80s, a sport known as Ultimate Frisbee or Ultimate began to catch on as a cheap, accessible, non-contact, self-refereed sport. It experienced significant growth, held back only by the number of available playing fields. In 1986, noting the lack of space, a group of local Ultimate Frisbee enthusiasts pulled their resources together to purchase 109 acres of land from a local farmer in Manotick Station. In 1998, the purchase was complete, and the area was quickly converted into playing fields for what would become Ultimate Parts Incorporated, or UPI.
Probably acquiring this much land is probably difficult in other parts of the city. What's maybe not known is UPI is actually 110 acres. The playing surface is only 40 acres. There's 70 acres behind the fields that we also own as part of UPI.
UPI is known as one of the very first and largest purpose-built, player-owned ultimate complexes in the world. It boasts some 19 fields on which teams can play, and it's a great location to host tournaments. This year, the No Borders Ultimate Tournament celebrates its 40th anniversary.
Teams used to come up from the States to play in this tournament, hence the name No Borders. Recent years, it's only been Canadian teams because the American teams have sort of changed their structure for the tournament. But we've been able to reach teams all across Canada, which makes No Borders really unique. Even though it's not a qualifier for a national event, we have teams coming from all the way from Vancouver out to Halifax and everywhere in between, which really makes it a great tournament.
As a sport, Ultimate continues to experience widespread growth. The Ottawa Carleton Ultimate Association has over 4,000 active players. With the summer recreational season in full swing, UPI will be a busy place for the game. The OCUA has a motto: the greatest sport, the ultimate people.
If you've never seen it, come out and watch. No Borders is a great opportunity to come out and watch Ultimate. There's men's divisions, women's divisions, mixed divisions, so we really cater to all. And yeah, it's open to everyone.
I'm Mike James for Rogers TV Community News.
Welcome back to UPI and the women's final at the 40th annual No Borders Ultimate Tournament. live on Rogers TV. It's 7-6 for Oz over Fusion in the women's final here at UPI. Some highlights from the first half, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of these highlights are going to be a lot of big throws, trusting their receivers, and a lot of great grabs. And yeah, a lot of athleticism on display and throwing prowess, I think. Yep, and this red zone offense by Oz has been a particular highlight for me, and then this, exactly what's on display here, this ability of Fusion just to get this disc on that high side in momentum, and then sitting it out in front of their receivers and backing them to go get it. Yeah, great game, and Oz getting that score coming out on offense as well felt very valuable. So let's see how Fusion respond in defense and if they've made any tweaks coming out of half.
If I were a betting man, I would bet on a perhaps universe point ending to this game, as it's been trading points back and forth. It's 7-6 for Oz over Fusion right now. What a grab to save the day.
As an impartial observer on this game, just here for the love of the sport and to watch some high-level ultimate, I'd also love to see and back a universe point, and when the disc hits the floor and yet you've still got players after 13 points able to get to the ground and make those tough catches, I think there's still a lot of game to be played.
Beau Soleil going around on the backhand. What a point. Kira Straub gets up there and pulls it down. Little Sally as well, Ben.
I think Fusion have to start trademarking these throws to space, these throws to the receivers, and then more importantly, trademarking those sellies. I'm certainly taking notes for my tournaments in the future. If I ever get a nosebleed and end up in the end zone taking a goal, I am popping off these Fusion celebrations.
The first one was the best one, the little butt bump.
Absolutely.
With the disc.
Let's just hope for some more goals, some more celebrations, and some more good ultimate than what we've been witnessing so far.
So first point of the second half that only has 9 minutes left in it, as we have 60-minute games today, 70-minute games yesterday, but things had to be condensed today.
Yeah, it's an interesting prospect right now. Both these teams are looking for, I guess, the bigger picture. Fusion certainly pushing for those, aiming for those medals at nationals. But with 9 minutes left in the half, you come in fully rested. It's a decision now for the coach. Do you stack the line, assuming that your top players, the players on form for this tournament, have the energy now and to last not just 9 minutes? Or do you really look at the bigger picture and just running through, keeping to your structures, keeping to your lines, and building for that nationals picture rather than trying to take out the no borders?
Killeen, nice find. Callie O'Grady. Thought twice about pumping it up that open side. Great pull down out of the air by Killeen. Emily Killeen. Turned over as Regan Boulanger couldn't get her hands low enough. And her player is striking toward the end zone now, coming back for the under as the disc is centered by Fusion. Minish, watched by Boulanger. On that far side now for Fusion. Looking to go up in the second half. But they'll turn it over.
Yeah, Fusion did a really good job there on the turn. Minish really just going deep, stretching it, was covered deep, but then immediately came under, covering maybe about 50 meters just to generate that 10-meter under. But then just Oz doing a great job stalling on the sideline. Fusion not giving much space on the handler, resets at the line and just really clogging that lane.
Monroe, it's short, but Hannah Grizik with some help from the sideline able to peel back and pick it up. Grizik off the dish. Now to the sideline for Killeen. Killeen pump fakes. Killeen stolen. Turned over by Fusion. Emma Beausoleil. And Oz is going to get it right back. A little floaty put up this near sideline.
There's a lot of tired legs out there right now. A lot of these kind of not following through, not finishing off these cuts.
Belanger, as the wind starts to pick up, Monroe into the end zone, great D. Natalie Gomez getting up there to spike that away from Ellie Monroe. And now along their own goal line, Fusion. Strikes going downfield. All done to reach down low and pick it up. Turned over again by Fusion.
Yeah, and that's the risk of that Fusion offense when you rely so heavily on the person in front of the disc cutting deep in these long points. As soon as people start getting tired, the cuts come slower and they come less reactive, and that gave the Oz defender a really nice chance just to hang in that lane.
Hanging into the end zone, Hannah Grzyk in for the score. No time wasted on that offensive set by Regan Belanger, and Hannah Grzyk pulls it down.
Yeah, and with Oz, I guess, trading up, having that slight advantage of starting on offense to increase the lead. With these points that are lasting a long time, as much as you want to have a clean hold and guarantee this score, that I think is actually a decent result for Oz. You start running around, they took some good chances, they can afford to be a bit more aggressive. They're making the Fusion defenders run and then try and grind on defense and making them work hard. So by getting that dirty hold that burnt a lot of the legs for the Fusion defenders, but then in turn actually scores and eats up a lot of the clock, I think that's a great result there for Oz.
And as you mentioned, the clock ticking down. Oz will try to expend as much time as possible, and they're getting a little bit bunged up on the line call at the moment for Oz.
Bunged up or great clock management?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say.
The dark arts in all the sports, yeah. They're with the observers, they're there watching their watches, blowing their whistles, keeping people on the straight and narrow.
Huge hold opportunity for Fusion. It's 8-7 right now for Oz. But Fusion turns it over. Break chance into the end zone. But just always tracking away from Caitlin Gormley, who may have had the legs at the beginning of the game. But after a long 2 days of ultimate and nearing the end of this fantastic final, just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, exactly. Asking a lot of your receiver right there, but they're still sticking to their structures. They're still trusting their receivers to go get it done. And then almost daring Fusion.
Picked off. A chance for Oz to really put the final nail in the coffin. It's floating, and it's caught!
Yeah, that's it. You get the turnover down there. You dare Fusion to take the full field, and then with Oz displaying some great heads-up defense all game and all tournament. That was just elite defending to react, take that disc away, and then having the composure to turn, lift it into space where you've got two receivers, maximize the chances, and that is another example of great red zone offense by Oz on both lines.
Mackenzie Hayward getting open in that back left corner. And I believe the first break of the game breaks open the score. A 2-point separation now. It's 9-7.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what happens when you get to these elite levels, as they are showing, is often the team that starts on O. There's been games there at the highest levels where you just trade it out and it's just the team that starts on offense first. But then you get one break and that increases that buffer, and that's often also what it takes to really put that nail in the coffin. Fusion needing some quick scores now.
Yeah.
Need to get level as soon as that, during the point where the hooter goes, to give themselves a sniff.
And earlier in the tournament, it was Fusion beating Oz 9-3 in the crossover game. They're going to have to go deep now, and they do. It's going to track left into the end zone, contested and pulled down. What a look upfield by Jillian Bannister and Anna Fradkov for their second of the game. Draws Fusion back within one.
Yeah, what I love here about the Fusion that and exactly has been on display here, just getting somebody in across the field horizontally. They opened up the space in front of the disc. The receiver can get this disc in stride on that flick side, and the ability to just adjust the angle of the throw, knowing now how to weight it, pulling height on it just to sit it out in front, but having the strength to punch it through the wind so it hangs the right side of the defender was phenomenal. And going back to that 9-3 win from Fusion against Oz, I don't know what they said after that game or what video session they were having, but sign me up. That must have been a great reflection exercise and some great adjustments that they're implementing right now.
Say it's hard to beat the same team twice in the same tournament, and Oz is making it very difficult for Fusion. Oz still up by 1 point.
That's right, that old analogy. 9-3 is a tough ask, but I guess this is where they're stepping up. They've got the home field advantage. They've got a bit of a crowd out, and every single one of their players is just giving it all right now, leaving everything on that field.
Oz on 0. Fusion needs a break to tie the game. That's the horn. If Oz scores, they win. If Fusion scores, we go to Universe and it's turned over.
That was a case of hearing that hooter and trying to get this in.
Fusion in possession. And now they don't have to force it. They don't have to go that long put. Turned over again. Run through D by Emily Killeen. And Oz will look to put it away now. Killeen on the far side. Stack forming on the near side. Boulanger. Monroe. 3 handlers across for Oz. Hannah Grzyk trying to get open. The flick to Grzyk is low and away from her hands. And the signal from the sideline from Fusion is everybody take a breath. Fusion, a break chance to tie the game and send it to Universe in the No Borders finals. Strobe. Stall count getting high, digging that one out of the ground and saving the possession. Emily Cho. Nervous moments, but Fusion keeps it alive. Swung to the near side, it's going to be floaty, but it's pulled down. Beausoleil. Back into the middle. Minish. Minish finds her target. Emily Lazaruk. Back to Minish. Minish dishes that off. Gomez. Lovely work upfield to tie the game. Fusion does it. We're going to Universe in the women's finals at No Borders.
Exactly what you predicted, a Universe game, and exactly what this game deserves. 2 teams going at it. Again, we're in the 18th point. That was just of this game of a long tournament, and they're still grinding deep. As you see the Oz player just putting that body out there, still willing to just bid for your teammates. And Fusion showing what that D-line has been capable all weekend is they can play that big ball, but they can actually play this small ball really well. And they've finally made that adjustment. They took that maturity, that experience to know what it takes to put a game back like this to Universe. And this is just a great place to be for the neutrals.
Yes. Well, 9 is all Fusion was able to come up with in their crossover game earlier in the tournament against Oz. Can they pull one more break out of their bag of tricks? They've got 2 in a row so far. 3 makes it a break train, and a break on Universe would be phenomenal for the team that arrived late on Friday night from Winnipeg against this local team in Oz out of Ottawa. Oz will start on offense. Next point wins. Killeen waves off a couple. Not a lot of action upfield. Handlers have to get involved. Here's Riley Boulanger. Pushing long is Mackenzie Hayward. Boulanger, it'll float. And that layout goes unsuccessful from Callie O'Grady. And here's the break opportunity for Fusion. 9-9. 64 minutes played in this game. Nearly a run through D from Boulanger, but Fusion keeps it alive. Pumping it up that far sideline into the end zone. It'll float. It's brought down.
And Fusion take it away, doing what they've done all weekend, grinding till the end, opening up that channel and trusting their receivers to go get it by putting it out in front.
Getting on the break train when it mattered most and getting on their horse. Kira Strobe.
And hitting the celebration at the end. They are consistent to their brand in all areas, on and off the field. But I think that was a terrific performance by Oz. I think the way they've come across the weekend, watching them a few times, they've just kept building and building. And I love they've got a lot of exciting youth coming through. They're playing some great defense. We saw that on display. They're not afraid to just put their bodies on the line for the team. And they do play a really great style of ultimate, looking for the breaks, looking to isolate athletes, and hitting the long.
So the final in universe, Fusion out of Winnipeg takes it over Oz and are the women's champions at the 40th annual No Borders Ultimate Tournament here in Ottawa. For all of us here at Rogers TV, volunteer staff and crew, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the mixed final coming up in just a few minutes.